Now, moving on to our regular Thursday topic. You know, we need to teach each other life issues. So today we're asking our viewers a little bit about jealousy. How healthy is jealousy required? How healthy can you be? How healthy is jealousy in relationship? Do you need to be a bit jealous? Or is there a thin line between jealousy and obsession? We've seen stories, and there was a story that came to us where a young lady who had a male colleague in the office who brings her to work every day. He lives close by her house, you know. So he picks her up and drops her at home in the evenings. But then the husband started getting worried over this continuous relationship where this man is always picking her up. Not only that, in the car, they meet in the office and they're probably buddies. Now, the woman obviously did not show any sign of interest, but the fact that he's always there, and the man began to think, I didn't like this. So he confronted her, and she made him feel, okay, there's nothing wrong with just a colleague. But after a while, the man getting uncomfortable accosted her, accosted the man, and started blaming them and accusing the man of making his wife cheat on him and all that. So initially it was cute because the woman liked the fact that her husband was concerned. But after a while, he started becoming obsessive. Like, uncle, there's nothing going on. So my question therefore is there a role as a woman you should play in making your husband feel comfortable with a male partner, a male colleague who's close to you? Or should the responsibility be wholly on the man to understand and respect and trust the partner who he has married? That, okay, I'm sure my wife, nothing is going to happen. How do we have this conversation? Mike, let me start with you.
I'll direct that question back to you. Imagine a woman.
Right.
Your husband and her are working in the same office. And every day, he picks her up or she picks him up. Oh, darling, you don't have car. Oh, no, sorry, friend, yes. You don't have a car. I'll come, especially I'll pick you up. You, the wife, you are looking. Today, tomorrow, the next day. After 1 month, you will not talk to yourself or your brain.
What's going on here?
I don't like this.
Interestingly, this has happened exactly to me. I think I've shared the story. There's a lady, I won't mention her name, but my husband used to give her a ride. Till tomorrow. My husband said, you stop my relationship with this person. You stop my friendship with this person. If not, I would have been there for her, because the girl was now going through some issues. And she needed, you know, and my friend wasn't feeling bad. If you had allowed me to be this person's friend, I would have clinic on. And I'm like, who's person's friend? But I realized that the person, every time, was giving her a ride. After I was saying, uncle, must you give this guy a ride? Did you have a way to get to this place before you came around? But I get that. But at the same time, let us also have that sense of trust, don't you think, of our spouses? If my husband should tell me, Mariah, I have nothing to do with this, shouldn't I trust and believe my spouse? Should
I think you should. So I think a little bit of jealousy is healthy in every relationship. Even God says, I am a jealous God. So that means that there's good in being a little jealous. It shows that you really love this person, you appreciate this person, you want to be with this person, you do not want any other person to come in between the both of you. So I think a little bit of jealousy is okay. But the problem is when it now borders on obsession. So there are people who, because they are in a relationship with you, they won't even allow you make friends, they won't allow your family, it's as bad as your family members coming close to you, they just shield you off from the world. That is when you are going to know that this is way off curve. But if it's a little jealousy, okay, you have friends. Now, what I do in my relationship, most especially, or what I advise people to do is, if you're not comfortable with this relationship your partner is having with another person, you have a conversation with your partner. I'm really not comfortable about this person. There's a vibe I'm getting that you may not see, because the truth is, especially for men, when somebody is liking them, they don't see it. There's a way they put their face very straightforward. They don't see. You, the woman, you've noticed that somebody is like this person. The way she smiles when my husband talks, the way this person is definitely liking my husband. But the men will say, you're too jealous. It's nothing. But you see it. So let me give you this perfect scenario. There was a young lady that was liking my husband at some point. They worked together, and I think it was one of my birthdays. She came to visit. I'd been suspecting, but my husband wasn't saying it. No, my husband knows me as a jealous woman. Like, you're too jealous. Your problem, jealousy. You're too jealous. Then my mother-in-law came. My mother-in-law walked in and saw everybody, greeted and all of that. And she called me to the kitchen. And I was like, yeah, mommy, what did he say? Who is that girl? I was like, she's your son's friend. He said she should not come here again. She's looking for something. I was like, I said it. She observed. Immediately. So I dragged my husband to the kitchen. I said, let mommy tell you what she just saw. You know? So, but if it's now the type of jealousy.
Men don't see these things.
I don't know. I don't know why.
Don't blame men alone. Even women, if a man likes you,
you don't see.
See that one. You will not see it.
Like we see it. When we might pretend not to see it, but we know.
So could it be that the men are pretending not to see it?
No. Listen. Abi?
Could it be?
Because if you are saying you see it, then, and your husband is saying he doesn't see it, then he's pretending. No. Because, look, I have relationships, male relationships that have nothing to do with, but I can suspect that maybe the man fancies me, but I'm not. Because I'm not feeling like that to the man, it's not important to me, so I do not see it. So I will not see it, and if my partner should say, that guy likes you, come, what are you saying? My partner is the kind of person that will just say,
okay, that's you.
Just carry go. See, you don't want to see.
Some people see
I want to give you. I had a relationship with this person. Before my partner, I was in a relationship with someone, and I had a male best friend. And that my relationship at that time used to say, which kind best friend you get?
We be man.
I would say, what's wrong with that? And I would say, but when my partner and I started, and he said he didn't like best friend, I talked to myself. Who can be your best friend apart from your husband?
That's so sweet.
But it's true. How are you having best friend with the opposite sex? So which best friend is that? Is it the best friend that you are going to end up in bed one day?
No. You see, YK, let's not even take it to the friendship part. This was just somebody giving her a lift.
Yes.
She's just a colleague in the office. They sit together. Yes, they could be fond of each other. But what is wrong in him?
Is it Jesus Christ? The kindest person in the world? No, I don't understand though. Me, I don't accept though. Don't give me lift.
As open-minded as I like to think I am, I think for me to be a problem, it is consistent. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to say, Uncle, I will pay you your money for your Uber this week. You know, I will break it. And I feel that also if the other person on the other side too has any sensitivity, she would not be so, she would not be so consistent in coming to pick my husband up all the time. Because she must enjoy the journey to work. They must vibe.
Yeah, there's a conversation.
What are you vibing with outside me? Yes.
Which kind best friend is that?
Exactly.
With the opposite
I
sex.
can get it like, oh, she does it. I get that they can do it like once in a while. He's running late and she just happened. But being consistent, it will bring up questions. But I think that when we have a conversation about it, and if it's in ways that we're trying to save some coins, you know, in that case, I can understand why it happens. But I think in every relationship, even with regular friendship, you have a friend, Mariah. If I see her talking to BC a little too much, I'm like, what's happening? Why is it becoming also chubby? I think it's natural. I think it's just a natural human instinct, human survival thing. Exactly. But then you have the conversation, you trust each other, and you hope that trust is not betrayed.
But so in my own case, for example, I mean, that person that was saying, because of my own personality, I probably wouldn't have really raised an eyebrow because the person kind of kojad the person's eye. In the sense that there was a time that my husband was driving Kojai, meaning that what's Kojai?
Pass our boundary.
Pass our boundary.
Oh, my goodness.
So my husband was in the driver's seat. I was in the passenger seat. Yeah. So the girl came on this side. They wound up. My husband was wearing an Ankara, I think, or something. No, it was an Ankara. So she was not. Then my husband, this Ankara is so fine. Okay, when are you going to buy my own?
What?
In my very presence, she
greets you.
She didn't even greet me. So she was greeting my husband. She didn't just skipped me to greet my husband. This Ankara is fine. No, I didn't buy my own. I'm thinking, what is going on? It was then and I was like, Auntie, it's time for us to stop this daily carrying because it was really getting. So, but the truth is that our personalities are different. Yeah. There's some women that are like me that you actually don't even see anything. You just feel as if it is okay. But you've not answered my question. Should the responsibility be solely on the man, knowing that, listen, my job is to trust, or be on the woman, trust, Or should we not even give it any space at all? Should we be suspicious all the time? That's the question.
You can say, you can say that you should trust me.
Yeah.
But my insecurities will not let me trust you. You should understand me to know that I have these insecurities. It could have been how I was brought up. It could have been my background. It could have been what happened in my former relationship. But the insecurities are there. And I am saying, I am suspecting this person. I do not think she's genuine. I think she wants to come in between us. I think she likes you. And you're saying, no, don't you trust me? It's not about you. I may trust you, but I don't trust that other person. So what happens when I don't trust that other person? You should give me
So your advice to that girl,
respect.
go ahead, Mariam.
You should give me that respect enough to understand that I do not trust this other person. It's not about you now, but I'm just not comfortable with what is happening. And respect me enough to cut it.
I will find that a bit too controlling for me.
Right.
They are your insecurities, they are valid, but work on your insecurities. I don't want to have to carry my issues and then all your own insecurities.
But it's your spouse now.
I understand. I'm my husband.
I get it, my husband, but also we're individuals and we come with our flaws and our strengths and our everything. But then there are some things about you that I cannot take and add to myself. If every time I step out of the house, I have to watch who I speak with, everyone I speak with, where I go, just because my wife's or my husband's insecurities are going to flare up. I won't be able to live like that. I feel that the person is quite controlling of everything. I would hope that my partner will be in that space where they understand that, first, this may just be my insecurities, and I trust our relationship enough that, nobody would pass their boundaries. That's how I would prefer to live my life.
Why do all be your advice?
Can you take your husband having a female best friend?
Yeah. You can have a female best friend. That would not stop me from asking my questions. You get? So my own is, I would
that best friend can...
A female best friend.
But also, the colleague at work, the one that, even you, YK, you are like around the same...
Let me go again.
Female best friend.
When we start going out together.
Female best friend. I'm just emphasizing it.
I knew her husband before I knew her. Then I now say, because, sorry.
Every weekend now, you come and take him out.
Let's go.
Yes, so.
But his time is 1 month.
Female best friend. I'm emphasizing it too.
Won't you ask questions? Because you don't know where...
You don't know the house of man.
The human mind will just...
Go fiam.
Because the brain doesn't know husband and wife.
I'm telling
it's not
you.
to feed it that the brain interprets.
Feelings.
Just feeding them with excess people. Let's go and break it right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we are still yet to deal with the issue of obsession. So we understand you not bringing friends or close to your family and all those things. But in this situation where a man, you have a driver, he's obsessively compulsive over how the driver is making passes at you. You have a house girl in the house. You are worried if your husband is looking at your house girl. These are obsessions that is triggered by just an association with other people. So therefore, where do we draw the line from jealousy and obsession? We've not really addressed that.
Yeah, so when it becomes an obsession, it becomes unhealthy and toxic. Now, as a human being, you know what works for your mental health. So you understand that, okay, this is a little bit of jealousy. Okay, I can always talk to him and say, don't worry now, don't be afraid. This is just a normal relationship. But when the man now says, I don't want you hanging out with this person, I'm suspecting the driver is looking at you this way, you cannot have a male trainer to train you, you cannot have this, you cannot have that, you know that it has gone beyond the normal jealousy and you need to seek help. So it's either you people decide to go to a therapist, because it's not what you say now. This is beyond insecurity. This is something that has gone wrong in some part of the brain of this man who sees everybody as a potential threat. Right. So it's not you that will solve it by word of mouth or trying to explain, because at some point it leads to physical abuse. So if he tells you, I don't want you hanging out with this person, and you hang out with that person, you will collect blow, you will collect slap. So you need to seek help at that point. Obsession is just not...
I used to have an evil boyfriend. You know, Igbo men, they are...
Possessive?
They can be possessive, but they know how to look after, they will make sure that you don't want for anything.
Yeah, okay.
So I had this Igbo boyfriend. So I was young, I was in my early 20s. And then he would come, I'm at the shrine, we are dancing. My brother didn't have a band, it was my father's band. And he would come, he would say, then one day I saw this friend of mine and he hugged me. Hi, can you come? Right. So then I went to my ex. Undu, how now? Can you go? Who was that guy holding you by the waist? I said, huh? I said, who was that guy holding you by the waist? I said, I beg you. What are you talking about?
People calling his name, that's the work you do.
I said, who was that guy holding you by the waist? I will slap you now. I said,
Slap you.
That was the end of the relationship. Because I could not, because the guy that he just came, he's an old friend. Anyhow now, so I didn't take it.
That wasn't healthy.
That was not healthy.
That wasn't healthy.
But that's what I'm saying is that ended the relationship. But the guy was a nice guy.
Okay, so
when it comes to looking at
but I say I'm so happy that they have both made my point. And sometimes, you know, when we talk about insecurities, when we talk about from our own point of view, we think, no, it's healthy, we are protecting our territory. But when you say it about someone else, you see the insecurities. So when you say everybody should have their insecurities valid, at what point is it too much? If every time your husband goes out, he has to be careful who he called the last time, who he was with the last time. You know, it stems from what you call valid insecurities. So it is important that you understand that about yourself.
Obsession.
It starts from somewhere. It does
Mariam, we are
all on top of your head.
Sorry?
If you are obsessive, you are obsessive.
Obsessive, yes. So
you will not hide. You will not be able to hide.
That's
it.
a mental
Even
issue.
as boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yes.
You will not be able to hide it.
you won't even start small. That's who you are. From the first relationship, you say it.
From
you make
when
it
you start going on like this, it will ask you who the guy was holding you by the waist.
Who carried your bag? Who did it? From the beginning, you know.
No.
So you know. So there's a difference. So it's not as thin as we're thinking. That's what you're saying. But however,
I'm saying that it's buildable. That's what I'm saying.
you can build it. But I think we're also adults. We're also adults to know. We know when these things are going past healthy. We know when the fact that, okay, so you have somebody picking me up every single day to work. And then you're asking, and I keep telling you, there's nothing. He's just my colleague. In fact, he works in finance, I work in HR, by 2 different departments. Or even if you work in the same both of us work in HR, his suspicion is that you see each other too much. And he tells you, I'm not comfortable that you're together, you're having like a 1-hour trip to the island, to the office. That's a conversation, two of you. Then you're in the office again, you're together. For me, I feel that a relationship is building here, and it worries me. That's a healthy conversation.
Yeah, it is.
But it's a healthy
it's a girl, if the woman now says, okay, you see that your spouse or your partner does not like it, out of respect, I'll take Uber. That's where I want the conversation to end. How do you deal with it? Because there are some men that feel that, but would you call that obsessive, where you are constantly asking, who is this guy? Or would you say a woman who is not even reacting properly, responding to this situation?
Who is that guy carrying my wife every time? No, I will not accept it. If I'm a man,
I will not take it.
Me, Mariah, my question would be now, the way to handle that. So would it make a difference if you sort of joined the ride once or twice and realized that there was nothing?
Hey, you know how it works.
I'm asking a question.
Yeah.
It's either when we have these problems, we don't have this problem just so that we talk about it and rant about it and just leave it. We're talking about it so that we can move on. Let's just say we're talking about people who this is helping them, maybe financially they cannot get that, so that help is needed to take you to work, and this has become a problem. Would it be that you get to know, would you say you get to know that person better?
Yeah.
So that you feel more comfortable.
Friends,
so it becomes a family,
that's a solution.
Friendship,
yes.
All that. See, we will take on
let me take this call.
We will take on this extra charge on ourselves, and we don't want to have any.
Let me come to Debbie. Debbie, are you still there? She's been holding for a while.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, thanks for holding. Go ahead, please. You're live.
Good morning, everyone. I'm a first-time caller.
Woo, first-time caller.
And so this talk on your colleague dropping you off, I had that experience. And it ran for a few years. I don't see anything wrong in this. I think this life should not be that hard. So for instance, I won't give the exact location. So let's say I live in Abule Egba, and this colleague, we live in Abule Egba together, and then we work on the island. And it doesn't drop me up in the morning, but in the evenings, it brings me back from work home. And it's not like he comes to drop me in front of my gate. It drops me somewhere that I can walk home. I think my husband appreciates it, and I think his wife, this colleague's wife doesn't have a problem with that as well. So I think we should be able to trust one another. There's a lot of relief to have someone bring me in the evening, you know, in the midst of all that Lagos traffic, back to work in the evening. Sometimes I don't get home until about 8. So you can imagine me having to be in Danfo, you know, around that period. So I think to be able to trust ourselves, and even appreciate this colleague, you know.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Debbie. So I think I like the solution Mariam provided. So this guy that is always taking his work, bring him home. Let's all have lunch together. Let's become family friends. Know his own wife if he has a wife. If not, so your husband himself will be able to deduce if he's okay.
Let me help you.
Okay.
Please help me. I want to know.
Do you remember one video that was trending on social media where the man's best friend was sleeping with his wife?
Bagan.
So the man, if this person has interest in your wife,
Yes.
Exactly.
and your husband, and you bring them in, okay, let's be best friends.
Easier. Easier, very easy.
But that's not what
That's what we're saying.
I'm saying, listen, I'm saying, if you need lift to the office, look for same sex, and go with same sex.
In our new world, if that's your insecurity, then that would be another insecurity.
That means you're obsessive. What I'm saying is, every day for 1 year, 365 how many ever days, because 365 is plus weekend. Every day you are taking this person to work. You are working with the person. You are bringing the person back home from work.
You know, talking about
one day you will not know when the brain will reset, and you start to look at the person as a handsome person, even if it's ugly.
Okay, no, okay.
Let's
let me get Busy's comment here.
Let's break it down first. There are different situations and different scenarios, and there are no absolutes.
Yeah.
You always pick what works for you per situation. Now, if you have the idea of marriage, first of all, or relationship, is to become companions, to be able to share with the other person. So I have a very bad day at work and I go home and the first person I want to talk to is my guy. And I gist with my guy. It becomes a problem when I have another guy who is either a best friend or a colleague, where instead of reaching out to my guy to give my gist, I give it to the other person. That's where it becomes a problem. And it could start with being in close proximity all the time. It starts very innocently. It's not like anybody plans to cheat when they get into a relationship. That happens. That's on one side. Then there's also another angle where you understand, you are not complaining about every other person you see around, every female you see around your husband. That's not your problem. Your problem is this particular person. Something I'm seeing in her eyes. So good. Why can't I do not? So you take away the obsession where you are obsessive, where it's about every other sex.
That's obsession.
Obsession. But if it's in
a particular person,
in 15 people, your husband has 15 female friends around. But you now spot one person and say the way this person is looking.
So now, therefore, so I like to merge what you said and what you said your mother-in-law had said that time, where you now bring this person home. So me that you saying that me I'm jealous before saying, okay, let's have a gathering. You have independent people, and people have said, let them see for themselves. Let your even husband see for himself. Be sure that am I comfortable with this guy. When your husband immediately says, this guy came around and there was something about it. He was laughing too much. I think I'm not comfortable.
Now you have broke. Now you have separated it, because that's what I'm saying. You cannot on everybody that you meet, because if it's not the one that takes you to work, it's the one that you are at work with. Do you understand? So you cannot be obsessive, insecure like that.
If I'm a man.
But I understand energies. I understand chemistry. I understand vibes. I get that.
You do understand it.
Sometimes it's not even the person that comes and picks you every day. It's the one that when you pass a particular gate waves you a little wave, small wave, and then the partner picks up. What is that about? So you're not obsessing about every time you leave the house, but you're wondering about somebody that seems to interest you in a particular way.
And I'm advising all men, if there's a man picking your wife every morning, stop it.
Anyway.
And I advise women too, if there's a woman that is following your husband every day, stop it.
Let me take this call from Kayode from the UK. Kayode, are you there?
Yeah, hi.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes. This is my first time of calling.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. Actually, definitely agree with PC, and most importantly, I want to share my own personal experience, basically, because I used to pick up a lady, and after like about 3-4 months, because I got closer, I ended up talking too much about my personal life to her, and before I knew it, I started having some funny feelings for this lady, and but the good thing was I was able to stay with my wife quickly. You know, I had to realize that I have to talk for the other, so I have to break it up. So the other, I think I definitely have to do that. If you keep doing something for too long, you're spending so much time with the same lady. You spend a word.
Okay, I'm having trouble hearing him. But I think
trying to say that he had someone, like maybe a colleague that over time, because we were talking, he started developing feelings.
Why do you think that men? Why do you think men sleep with their secretaries? Why do you think men sleep with their secretaries?
Some men.
A lot of men sleep with their secretaries. In fact, the secretaries end up marrying a lot of. I know about 3 or 4 men who marry their secretaries. They had wives at home, but they marry their secretaries because of that close proximity. So what I'm saying is close proximity.
Okay, so let's talk about let's talk about the signs. Okay. What signs? Okay, let me let you finish.
Yeah, so you have talked about the secretary. I'm saying that as the wife now, how many of the secretaries, how many of the relationships are you going to police? So now what is happening is when we say that is you're putting whatever now ends up happening between the man and the secretary on the wife. You did not police this thing enough. That is why it happened under your nose.
I didn't say that.
No, I'm just saying that is what that's how it now interpreted. So women are made to police all relationships that their husbands
I didn't say police.
No,
I didn't listen. Miriam, listen. No,
you're saying that close proximity.
I'm saying yes. So I'm saying that if there is a woman or a man picking your spouse every day,
YK.
Question
secretary doesn't pick you. Secretary is there. Close proximity is.
I just said. No, what I'm saying is secretary. If the secretary and the husband have relationship, that is on the man. Husband's office now. That is obsession. So what I'm saying, where you can police it,
police
the best you can.
That one that is coming to pick your husband every day.
So you choose when. So police, you can police, but not everything.
Selective police.
Now let us come to how do we pick up? What are the signs to know that okay, I think there's an issue here? Because there are women that are watching that they are totally oblivious. They haven't today. They just trust blindly. It is okay. I know there's nothing happening. They just believe that it's all right, but. Are there signs women can observe today, and even men can observe in their homes? They should begin to suspect this daily pickup or daily bringing food for you.
The first sign.
Yes.
When the woman is too friendly with you. With you, the opposite,
wife. The wife. Okay.
The picker. Who is the woman?
So the girl who is constantly going with my husband now tries to be my friend.
She's too friendly
with me. Hey, that's a good one. I didn't even know that one. Really? So in the opposite sex, if the man who's picking up your wife comes to you and tries to be so close to you, my buddy, could that work for men?
It will work for men, no.
But he's trying to be your buddy.
When you have gone out, it's on your couch.
I think we will end up blocking many people for what they did not.
Okay, another thing, another pickup sign. Another sign is when your spouse is constantly talking and say that, even Ronke felt like this. Ronke said this.
That's the sign.
He's constantly referring to Ronke said or Sharon said. Every single time this person is dropping the conversation. Suspicious. Why is it? Well, we always talk about Ronke.
First ask the person, or he starts to be telling you phrases the
person said. Like I just said this. Or
no, he starts even using her phrases. Like let's say she says, you've heard it from her, and then you start hearing from your husband.
Something has happened.
Okay, catchphrases. I love that. So those phrases that person uses, and not only your husband start using that phrase. Look, they've been talking longer than these are nuggets.
But
let me come to you. Let me take this call. Hello, are you there? I like that one.
Hello, I'm there.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Hello.
You're live. Go ahead, Bisola.
Okay. Good afternoon. Good morning. I'm first time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Concerning this issue you're talking about is what is going on in my family. Like, presently now, my husband don't have a car. And there's this lady that
comes to pick my husband, and I even encourage my husband that you can go with her. But I don't see it as a problem or as a threat, because if God provides a car for my husband, it's something I can tell him to also carry somebody. So I don't see it as a threat. And I trust him. If there's anything, he would let me know. I don't see it as a threat. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bisola.
Thank you.
So
she doesn't have any jealousy. Okay, so it's good to be like that too.
It's good. So
it's good. So Bisola,
we're forgetting that we have different people with different personalities and temperament. Everybody cannot just butt into be like this person. It's not easy if it's not from you naturally. But I wanted to say that I think the average woman has been given intuition. You know, there are certain things that you can perceive.
Yes.
There are certain energies, yes, that come, and you are not just comfortable. Your spirit just tells you something is wrong. I think once you have that intuition about somebody who's coming close to your partner, please make sure that you investigate. You will likely find that you're
So, for example, a Bisola right now has no issues. However, would advise her, keep your sixth sense up. Be open. Just know. Keep your eyes open. Don't just say, I trust, and go and sleep. Because things might happen naturally, but then in a year's time, you're thinking of something else.
Women need to also learn to hone in on that sixth sense. Because that sixth sense, it doesn't come... you have to hone into it.
Yes.
It's not there. If you turn a blind eye to it, you will miss it.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, when you said she should turn on her sixth sense, I was going to say this thing just it comes on. Yeah, it comes on. I mean, it feels like it's constantly on, and then it catches.
To pick up.
Yeah, it's like a radar, and then it catches the signal.
Yes.
So please.
So maybe for some women it's not, but for me, I really think like I'm a whole ball.
Me, I'm a trusting woman. So I would have to put it on to catch it.
Right. So we picked up 3. I want us to go back to the nuggets. We pick up 3 nuggets. Nuggets 1, Mariam.
Okay, I got catchphrases.
Catchphrases from what way your husband starts using the same for. Second, the person gets too friendly with you.
Dropping the name.
Yes.
Dropping the person's name in every
conversation, and then the person gets too friendly with you. Those are 3 nuggets.
Yeah, that one I don't agree.
Don't worry. I'm talking from experience. I'm talking from experience. I'm talking from age.
I do not close my eye to the one that now decides not to talk to me and be like, okay, she's not talking to me, she's not friendly with
me.
Because
they say, keep your friends closer and your enemies even closer. So she comes closer, you have to know now.
You're right. Someone like me
can I just tell you something?
Someone like me, let me just say, someone like me would rather I don't have anything to do with you. So if anything happens, I don't have any reason to feel like I've done anything. Yeah, I don't owe you any friendship. I don't owe you any.
That one, you are not going to the house every day.
Let me take this call, Waika. Let me take the call. Don't forget that example of Waika, because I know you are 16 now. You can forget. Don't forget. Write it down. You see? I'll have a caller. Oluchi, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
I'm so excited to get through today.
Yes.
You see, I'm very interested in this topic you're discussing this morning, because this thing is a big problem in a lot of families. I also have a case like that. Now, my supposed friend, was coming to the house, but at a point, I noticed that she actually had interest in my husband. And when I called my husband's attention to it and said, see, this lady just used me as a ladder to get to you. He said, don't worry, I understand, but don't worry. But you know that this thing got to an extent that he even stopped eating my food and was not eating the baby's food. So it's a very serious issue. It's a very serious issue. If you're not able to stop it when it's just starting, things will just get very, very obvious. I thank God we were able to resolve it. We are back together. We are living happily now. But some other persons will not be able to handle it, and the marriage will just scatter.
Thank you so much, Oluchi, for sharing this story with us. You see, another thing, I try not to use myself as an example in so many points, but when you notice these things, nip it in the bud. The whole world will be against you.
Yes.
At that moment, nip, because you know that if I continue this thing, no matter how great the person is, nip it quickly before it goes far.
So now when it comes to nipping it in the bud, like things like they happened with her now, you know, this has to be done by both of them. So someone has to believe it's happening. The other one even has to acknowledge that it has happened and is going there. Because some women will get it. They want to even have the conversation with the men will get it. And you want to have the conversation and it's like, please stop with the nonsense. It's not existing. So you may know it. So that you may know it, you may see it. But if your partner is not willing to acknowledge it or have that
could be a problem.
So what does the woman do or the man do at that point?
There's even a story I heard about.
If the guy is not willing to acknowledge it,
that's a problem.
That's a problem because you know that it's going to happen.
Yes.
Even if he hasn't seen it.
So okay, can we set a trap for this person? Can you and your husband plan to set a trap where to reveal?
What if the husband is not even looking that way?
Yes. Okay, I think I have Good morning, are you there? I think I have Yakub, I believe.
Yeah,
Yakub, is that you?
Yakub.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes, thank you. Good morning to you all.
Good morning.
I don't mean to call, but I purposely called because of the caller before the last one. That says that her husband does not have a car, and then that somebody has a car, the lady or woman that normally give a right to her husband. And then she says that she trusts her husband to that place, Morayo. There is a fire on the mountain. You see, you can say that you trust your husband that nothing will happen. Don't ever doubt the power of a woman. Your husband may not have anything in mind, but if a lady decides to catch your husband, and then there is nothing you can do, don't ever trust anybody in that kind of a station. You can trust your husband, yes. It is good to trust your husband. But to give that kind of atmosphere that somebody came and giving your husband a ride every day, Morayo, don't think twice. If you are trying like that lady, she should think twice because it is very, very delicate game.
No, thank you very much. There's the other part of food. I know there's a story, there's an older lady that told me a story about her own story. Why are you laughing? I'm so tickled about what I'm hearing. So the lady was telling me, this older woman was telling me that this woman was from a different country. And she was like the head of the caterer. She was a caterer of an office. And her husband used to go to that office because that woman used to serve him specially. And even the food that the woman brings for him, he brings it home. So she used to encourage her husband, that woman, that caterer in that your friend's office, so please tell her how to make this. So every time, but she did not know that the woman had the intention of wooing her husband. Eventually, that man married that woman as a second wife.
She knew.
So if she had known, so it's going back to those tentacles. Why would you allow your husband to be bringing food from somebody else? And is it okay for you to allow your husband to bring food from maybe BC can cook a groundnut soup now, and she's constantly bringing groundnut soup every weekend because I know my husband likes it. Should I encourage it as a woman? Is it good? Is it healthy? Because hey, she's my girlfriend now. Why can't I do that? All of you make all.
I have an answer. I just don't want to be the one that's always on the contrary, because you're saying that I'm saying that okay, if she knew then that was what the woman was planning on doing and the husband did not see, it's not on her. You know, we make it sound like all the woman has to do is step in, police it enough, step in enough, and then she stops it. It doesn't always work that way. It needs to be in collaboration and conjunction with the man as
subject,
well. That says, okay, I see you, and I see that there's danger ahead, and we'll stop it.
But shouldn't you talk to as a woman? Shouldn't you say something?
You can even say it to the man. It's not say it, or not say it, but then it's not to you.
Sometimes the man might listen.
Yes.
Now, when the man doesn't listen, that's danger.
That's when you go and pray to God.
That help. That's the danger zone. Because if the woman does have the intention of stealing your husband, and your husband has decided to be blind, well, like she said, fasting and prayer. Because
so what?
When she's not cooking.
What I advise people to do in such cases where you have a husband who is not even paying attention to you, who believes you have this woman, you have started again, you have started seeing things that are not there, is to make noise about it. So take it serious. I remember in our early days, there was this particular babe that was always calling. My instincts were telling me that this babe wants something else. You have started this, your jealousy, you have started. And I kept talking. And when he didn't hear, I told his mom. I said there's this particular, in fact, there was one that babe did. She called on Valentine's Day. I was pregnant for my first baby. We were supposed to go to the market to buy things together. For hours, this lady was on the phone. When he finished, I said, what was she telling you on Valentine's Day that you're supposed to be with your spouse. I am going to tell mommy. So sometimes you may need to get a little help from, depending on the sort of family that you have. Yeah. Make noise about, let them know that I have said it, oh, somebody is coming, oh, I've been warning, oh, if it happens, it's on you, I gave you all the signs. And there's a place of prayer too. There's a place of, we can say it doesn't work or it's not realistic.
If you're not religious, become religious.
Whatever you believe in, hold on to your belief.
That's
and ask the spiritual for help.
Religious, you know there's some people who don't believe.
It may not even be church.
Exists.
No, it's not about.
No, I'm just of church or mosque. I'm saying there's some people
believe in something
who are not spiritual.
Yes, whatever you believe
become
in,
spiritual.
It's time to ask the sovereign to help. This particular matter, I need your help. I need your guidance. There's also a place for that, especially the men. But there are some men. Hold on. There are some men who, after you hound them for it, they now start paying attention. Yes. Because I remember initially when I make those kind of comments and I say this is happening, I say you have started. When I keep insisting on it, now what is it that you are seeing? Because you don't see it for every other person. What is it? And they just change. So it depends on the situation that you have.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up soon. Yes, Mariam, any final words?
It just reminded me, I had a friend that was trying to organize something for Christmas for her friends, and she invited me and my husband. And my husband said he may not be able to go. And then she said she was not comfortable inviting me by myself because of the way I look. And she did not want other people's husbands to feel uncomfortable. And I wondered, how was I supposed to take that? This is supposed to be a very good friend. Do you understand? How was I to? So, how was I supposed to take that?
And she uninvited you.
Married.
So you're uninvited?
No, I was not uninvited. I was eventually invited. But, for her, those were insecurities that she had concerning
her own husband.
Those are, not her husband. Other people just being in that.
The respect for her other people's husbands.
Yes. Come with your spouse. Respect? Is it insecurity? Is it?
No, it's just, I think it's respect.
I think especially if you're an unmarried woman or you don't have a relationship, I don't think it speaks too well. When married women will not welcome you into their space.
Open arms.
No, you are married, but you couldn't come with your
No, not your own situation. I'm just saying if you're an unmarried woman and you go into a space where there are married women and there are spouses, the married women are not going to look at you with which kind of woman is this? Want to come and steal our husband?
Coming to fish something.
That's a respectful thing to do.
It's just to stay away.
Especially when you go to all these BB clubs. All these BB clubs where the men will go and gather, some of their wives follow them, some of them go with their girlfriends, and there's always that friction of, why can't you come with your wife? No, because you want to go with your girl. But we have to wrap up. And I want us to give an advice to maybe people out there right now where this issue of jealousy is turning into obsession. And I want us to go back to the initial question. Where do you draw the line? What are the things you need to look out for? How do you ensure healthy jealousy doesn't go into obsession? Let me start with BC because I know.
Okay. So for me, I think obsession is plain. You see it immediately you start the relationship. They don't hide it and after 5 years they bring it out. It starts from the beginning. The person has a problem with any other person coming around you and because he has a problem with himself. So you see that and you can choose to either continue the relationship at your detriment or you take a walk and find someone else. But when it comes to that bit of jealousy, I think spouses should learn to listen to each other. So if a woman constantly hounds you on everybody, that one is a crazy person. That one is a different case. But if once in a while someone comes up and something touches her and then she says, I'm really not comfortable about this person, I think it's wise and it's respectful for you to listen to her. Find out what she feels. Find out how both of you can work together and nip it at that time.
So for me, because I'm always an advocate.
That's true. We didn't take tweets. Go ahead. Mariam, your final words and you can take a tweet.
Okay, so I'm always for, showing kindness, being helpful to people. And I understand that people like that also can easily be, they can easily be taken advantage of. And so someone who has a spouse who can be very caring and helpful can have someone that will take advantage of the kindness. And usually people like that do not get to see it. So I think this conversation is just saying, open your eyes that not everyone is there to just accept your kindness for that sake, but trying to spoil what you
have. So I'll take some tweets. Monachi wonder, so far the husband doesn't like it when she doesn't, if the other doesn't like it, then they should please stop. And they tend to make people have different speculations about them. Husband scares, I don't understand. Prince Chris, it simply means he's talking about yesterday's show. And how will a married woman allow a male friend colleague to so to say, to pick her and drop her at home. Even if they are concubines, must they show it to the whole world?
We have to run. We're running out of time. Why your final words? I have to run. Why your final words?
Shine your eye.
The heart of man is desperately wicked.
I would say my own final words. But see, obsession is like, it's not about you, it's about the person. The person has insecurity issues. So if you're in a spouse, if that person is your spouse, be understanding that obviously your spouse has that insecurity. Don't create the atmosphere to ignite that obsession. Don't create that avenue where it can be able to build on that obsession. If jealousy is like primary school, obsession is like, is like PhD. So try really hard to manage yourself.
Sometimes it can lead to murder. So
obsession, just run away.
I like how
that's what we can take.
Okay, so someone says there are so many angles to this jealousy topic being discussed on your view, and the other person says exactly, but trust must have been broken for this to spring up. And another person says not necessarily a broken trust. We are wired differently. Some people are naturally jealous, and they mean no harm. Right? It's just
we have to run. Unfortunately, that's what we can take on the show. We've done 2 hours. We have to run. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
I will tell you the story.